Welcome to yet another edition of the Stats and Stacks podcast, where today we're going over UFC. God, where are we at now? We're in frickin' Vancouver. De Ridder versus Allen. First things first, make sure you smash that like button. Give a follow over on Twitter, over on Instagram, over on TikTok, wherever there's social media. There's the Stats and Stacks podcast. If you don't want to follow on social media, I totally get it because Ricardo Hamas absolutely destroyed us last week. It is what it is. That's two consecutive weeks where we had a lock fall. We had Patchy Mix the week before. Now we have Ricardo Hamos. But I will say that Konofsky clearly grabbed the cage three times and nothing was done of it. And then ultimately, Ricardo got his back taken and choked out. So there's a little bit of controversy there. We had the right read. There was just a bad cage grab and then just bad results. So that is the game we bet on. Shit happens all the time. It is what it is. So the good news is there's a big run of events happening. So out with the old, in with the new, and we're looking to make money. We already bounced back in Contender Series for the finale on Tuesday, and now we're looking to make some money this weekend in Vancouver. So let's not waste any time. There's a decent amount of fights on this card. So let's just jump straight into the very first fight because there is some volatility on this card. Starting with the first fight of the night, we are looking at Melissa Croden as a minus 120 favorite going up against Tiana Lisboa at plus 100. Over under set at 2.5 because it is a women's MMA fight. Over 2.5 minus 215, under 2.5 at plus 165. Let's start with the UFC newcomer and the Canadian herself and Melissa Croden. Melissa Croden is not very that impressive. She will have the crowd behind her. It's going to be the very first fight of the night with a Canadian in there, so the crowd will be hot and heavy for Melissa Croden. She'll have a 2.5 inch reach advantage, which is super nice. I mean, she has two career losses, and they're to good girls. I mean, she lost to Jacqueline Calvacanti, and this other loss was by split. So, like, yeah, she has two losses, but they're justifiable. It happens. Her jujitsu's okay. She's a BJJ brown belt, and she's has a pretty decent top game on her. Her striking's okay. The problem I have with her is that she doesn't really use head movement at all. She is just a walking target on the feet. She's aggressive and she'll march forward and she loves to grab that Muay Thai plum and just bully you and just knee you to the body and the head and the knee into the body and the head. And she just abuses you in that Muay Thai plum and just kind of just overpowers girls. But part of that is because of level of competition she's facing. She's not facing anyone good at all. Like they're 8-6 and 8-4 and 5-4, 1-0, 1-0, 0-0, 0-0. Like you're doing fight tape, and none of these girls have wins, or they have one career fight. So yeah, she's going out there and dominating. And then when you gave her someone that was had a decent record, she went out there and got killed. So it is what it is. She's just a bully. She just bullies bad opponents out there. Her cardio seems okay, but again, if she's going to utilize that top game, that's awesome. But she can't wrestle. So I don't know how she's going to do that. She wants to strike with her, that's fine, but she's got to move her head and she's got to be bigger than you. She's got to just bully you. On the other side, we have Tiana Lisboa, who generally doesn't get bullied. She's 34 years old. She has world-class striking. She's in the UFC. They're going to talk about her fighting Muay Thai fights against Valentina Shevchenko back in the day. So she has really, really, really good striking, accredited striking. She also has good L's. Like, yeah, she has three career losses, but they were to Luana Santos, who just outgrappled her, and Luana Santos is on the rise. They were to Norma Dumont, who is like about to fight for a title. And then the Santos girl, I really don't know about, but three losses. Two of them are in the UFC, and one of them is essentially a title challenger. And she fought Shevchenko twice. So, yeah, the girl has really good striking. She has good cardio. Her BJJ, although she got subbed in her last fight, Luana Santos is a BJJ black belt, and she's otherworldly on the ground. Traditionally, she's fine. She actually utilizes grappling a lot. We've seen her get two or three takedowns in multiple fights in the UFC. And even in her UFC debut, she went out there and choked out Jessica Rose Clark and got a submission win for her UFC debut. Defensively wrestling, 58% takedown defense, so that's not the best number. But again, Croden's not really a good wrestler herself. And her being a Muay Thai specialist, she's very good in the clinch. Again, Croden on the feet is hittable, but will grab a Muay Thai plum and just knee the shit out of you. If anyone can handle that, it is a Muay Thai specialist in Lisboa. So for that juncture, I have to side with if this is a stand-up fight, I have to side with the accredited Muay Thai fighter in a Muay Thai fight. At plus money, it only makes sense. So the pick is going to be Lisboa. The bet is going to be Lisboa at plus 100. Next fight of the night, it's mind over matter here. I gotta really just, I see faults in people and I really jump the gun trying to fade them, but sometimes I just have to remain patient and I'm trying to convince myself to do so here. We have Azamat Bakoev at minus 290 going up against Yuri Belgari at plus 235. Over under set at 1.5. Over 1.5 minus 175. Under 1.5 at plus 135. Let's start with Bakoev because that's the guy that I want to fade. He's a fraud. He's not that good. You see that he's Russian and has a record of 20-3. You think he's an absolute killer. He's really not. It is a very, very, very padded record. And even in the UFC, his wins are over Ryan Loder and Zach Reese, who are at the very, very bottom of the UFC middleweight division. So do not let him fool you. His wrestling's pretty good. His jiu-jitsu's okay. He thinks he's a striker. He trains over at ATT, and his striking has gotten better. But on the feet, he's also pretty chinny. I've seen him dropped on more than one occasion. And the part I hate most that I want to fade is his gas tank. His gas tank is not good at all. I mean, for the love of God, he went to a split decision with Dylan Budka. Like the Dylan Budka that won zero fights in the UFC. Yeah, that guy went out there and went to a split decision with him. So. Um, even when you look at his record, his other loss was a round three submission because he gassed out. His other loss was a split decision loss because he gassed out. They're all split decisions because he starts off hot and then he gasses out. When you look at his wins, you see round one, round one, round one, round one, like all of these real early finishes here. Level of competition, again, not the greatest. He's not bad, but he shouldn't have the Russian stigma of just an EV. I'm going to go out there, dominate you on the ground for 3 rounds and kill you. He's going to go out there, he's going to look good for a round, and then he's going to gas out if he doesn't get the job done. And his chin is a little suspect, and he's growing in confidence in his striking, which could be to his detriment because he's fighting a really, really, really good striker. He's fighting Yurguri, and he is one of the main training partners of the current 205-pound champion in Alex Poatan Pereira. In fact, Yurguri has actually fought Pereira in kickboxing multiple times, and he's actually beat Alex Pereira in kickboxing. So this guy's striking is legit. He is 33 years old. He will have a staggering 7-inch reach advantage. And again, he's just another glory kickboxer like Izzy, like Poatan. He's just a really, really, really good one-dimensional striker. His takedown defense is sitting at 81%, but that's against like not the greatest competition. He fought this Asian guy on the Contender Series in his second go around. What was his name? Iwaski, who I don't credit his wrestling at all. And then he fought Marco Tulia, who I actually think is a really good fighter, but is not the world's greatest wrestler. And he got taken down twice by Tulio. So Mikoev will probably get the takedown. It's just a matter of can he keep him down there? And I just didn't see enough urgency out of Belgori to get up after he got taken down. His cardio's okay. He doesn't hit as hard as Poatan, so he looks like him. He's long and lanky, and he does a really good job fighting really, really long like Poatan does. He is just kind of like Walmart Poatan. If you take the left hand away from Poatan, you get Belgori, and honestly, that's what makes Poatan scary. So he's just kind of like a friendly neighborhood Poatan. So it is what it is. Not a bad fighter, will beat a lot of guys in the UFC, but a Russian EV, probably not the right time to fade Bikoev. As much as I want to, and I know he'd go out there and get clipped at any point, I don't have the guts to do it yet. I always do it too soon. I'm not going to do it yet. So the pick is going to be Bikoev. The bet is unfortunately going to be Bikoev. But please, when they give him the right guy, we are fading Bikoev. Next fight of the night, we have the unknown. We have Stephanie Luciano at minus 300 going up against Ravenna Oliveira at plus 240. Over under set at 2.5. Over 2.5 is minus 300. Under 2.5 at plus 220. Let's start with Ravenna Oliveira. She's not bad, but she also has a little bit of a padded record. She has good striking. She has okay BJJ. I believe she's a brown belt. Her cardio's okay. Her wrestling isn't the greatest. So again, we don't really see a ton of how good her jiu-jitsu is because she doesn't get it down to the ground all that often. The thing with her is I think she's predominantly a striker and kind of bullies you and beating people with really, really, really bad records. She came into the UFC and she fought Tainara Lisboa. Lisboa went out there and out-grappled her. Again, a kickboxer out-grappling you does not look great. That does scare me quite a bit. And then I realized something. She's fighting Stephanie Luciano. Luciano is a 115-pound fighter. So I went and I looked at the fight, and this is, in fact, a strawweight fight. When she fought Tainara Boa, that was at 135. It was a bantamweight fight. So she is dropping not one, but two weight classes. She's fought predominantly at 125 her whole career. She took that fight in the UFC at 135, and now she's dropping down to 115. I would say that's a good thing, I suppose, with how physical she is. Maybe that will aid in her wrestling, but I haven't seen her that low, and we haven't seen her in 2 years. And she apparently had a ACL reconstructive surgery, so we don't really know what we're getting. We have not seen her in a long time. We've never seen her in this weight class, and she shows potential up a weight class. So how is she going to look at 115? We truly have absolutely no idea. We do know about her opponent, though. Her opponent's 25 years old, will have an inch and a half reach advantage. Luciano has really, really high volume, really, really good striking, 80% takedown defense. We saw her stuff a ton of takedowns against Sam Page and against Talita Alencar. Her jiu-jitsu's good. Was able to not get submitted on the ground by a world-class BJJ girl. And she'll sprinkle in a takedown here or there herself. Her just name a game is volume. She goes out there and she strikes and she strikes and she strikes and she just wants to break you. And she throws volume for days. Oliveira, in her debut against Lisboa, turned into a grappling match, and she's the one that wanted to strike. Lisboa, the Muay Thai specialist, wanted to grapple. So I don't know if she felt something she didn't like or what have you, but I think there's a reason Lisboa was out there and grappling with someone that had better grappling credentials than she did. Ultimately, Lisboa was able to bully her a little bit because she was bigger and stronger. But again, this is Oliveira dropping two weight classes, and she's fighting someone that's going to oblige and want to strike with her. Should Luciano win this fight? Yes. Is she probably the better striker? Yes. Can I trust her at minus 300 with all the unknown we're getting from Oliveira? No. At that circumstance, call me fucking crazy. I'm gonna pick Luciano, but I think I'm gonna ultimately get a bet on Oliveira. I love betting on fighters where I don't know about the unknown, and you get a lot of value. Only if it's value. If this was lined at Oliveira like plus 150, I wouldn't touch this. But Oliveira damn near plus 250 with her dropping two weight classes and finally being able to strike like she wants to. There's very minimal tape on Oliveira. I don't know what we're getting into. But I do love the fact that there's a chance, and I love the fact that these odds are off. So let's take the shot. The pick is Luciano. She should win. The bet's going to be Oliveira out of curiosity and value. Speaking of, I'm going to lose a lot of you here too. We have Kyle Prepelic at plus 390 going up against Drew Dober at minus 520. Over under set at 1.5. Over 1.5 minus 190. Under 1.5 at plus 145. Let's start with who everyone knows in Drew Dober. Drew Dober is 36 years old. He has really good striking. He has okay cardio. His jiu-jitsu he's worked on quite a bit. I believe he is a brown belt or black belt now. And his wrestling, we've seen him mix in takedowns in his last two fights, which is really weird. More upper body throws out of necessity. He wasn't hunting the takedown, but he did go for it when the opportunity presented itself. He's a very opportunistic wrestler as of late, but he predominantly wants to go out there and bang. He has a ton of power, and he had a ton of durability. Emphasis on had because he's 36 years old and that chin is getting cracked. We saw him get finished by Gene Silva, and Gene Silva is a featherweight. I know it was a cut in a doctor stoppage, but he got dropped multiple times. We saw him dropped in the Renato Moicano fight. We saw him dropped in the Manuel Torres fight and get put out clean in his last fight. We saw him get put out clean against Matt Favola. So the last 2 years, he has had one, two, three, four, five fights, and he's been dropped in four of them. So it's a little concerning. The way he fights is very, very reckless. He's very, very exciting, and he's very, very good. But he relies a lot on that crimson chin, that durability. He's got a big ass chin, and he used it to his weapon. And that weapon is just no longer there. Father Time is undefeated, and when he gets cracked, he's starting to go down. On the other side, he's fighting another old man. We have Kyle Propelic, who's also 36 years old. Difference is he's the Canadian in this matchup. So after the first fight, there's a two-fight lull, and then we go right back into the crowd favorite. So he'll have a lot of reaction from the crowd. He has good striking himself. His jiu-jitsu is just like Drew Dober, who was really, really bad, but I believe he's a brown belt or black belt now, and he has worked diligently to get it better. His wrestling's trash, though. It is not good whatsoever. If Drew Dober wants to take him down, he probably can. I just don't know if Drew Dober is going to want to do that. Drew Dober finally has someone who's willing to stand and bang with him, and he did that with Gene Silva and enjoyed it. He went out there and he did that. He tried to do it with Manuel Torres, but it just didn't go well. Prepelic's a little hittable, and his level of competition's okay. Drew Dober has definitely fought the much better guys fighting Islam, fighting Gene Silva, fighting Renato Moicano. Like, he fought some killers at 155. Prepelic just fighting Benoit Saint-Denis and Austin Hubbard, like, they're serviceable. Well, Benoit's good, but Hubbard's serviceable. It is what it is. But he got out grappled by Hubbard. He went out there and he got out grappled by Benoit Saint-Denis. This is going to be the first time where we saw Kyle Prepelic go out here and actually strike. Now, Nordine Taleb went out there and struck with him and just out-volumed him back in 2019 in his first run in the UFC. He got cut and he came back last year, but he's standing banged with Michael Dufort, who's pretty decent in the PFL. And that's a good win. He hasn't fought a ton of great guys outside of that, but he's going out there and he's doing his job. He's going out there and getting round one KOs. The dude is a very, very good striker. That's all he can do. He's very one-dimensional. And this is striker versus striker, 36 versus 36. I think Drew Dober is more technical and the better striker, but I think Prepelic hits just as hard and has the durability. So it turns into crowd and durability versus technique. And which one do I want to go with? Generally, I would go with technique, but at damn near plus 400, they're forcing my hand. The pick is going to be Drew Dober. He should win this fight, but he is fading. And Prepelic, he's not fading as fast. So give me the crowd, give me the durability, and give me the plus 400 as the bet. Next fight of the night. We have Danny Barlow at minus 340 going up against Jordan Santos at plus 270. Over under set at 2.5. Over 2.5 plus 120. Under 2.5 at minus 155. Another fight where there's no Canadian in this matchup, so it's just skill versus skill. Let's start with Danny Barlow. He's 30 years old. He's going to have a 4-inch reach advantage, which is interesting because he's coming up a weight class. He generally fights at 170. Said he felt absolutely terrible his last two fights at 170. He's getting sick cutting all the way down there. And he got knocked out in his last fight. Now, Sam Patterson's a good fighter, but he's saying part of it was just his durability was not where it needed to be because he's cutting too much weight. I'm going up to 185. So the fact that he still has a significant reach advantage coming up a weight class is interesting. And his nickname says it all. Left hand to God. He wants to go out there, hit you with his left hand, put your lights out, and go home. That's all he wants to do. He counters. He doesn't generally go first. But if you throw anything lazy, he is throwing that sniper of a left hand, and more often than not, putting your lights out. He was undefeated up until his last fight. So, ton of power, really good striking. He's an athlete. He's a very, very fast twitch, very, very quick out there. He throws okay volume, especially for someone that prefers to counter. He has been chin checked though. Again, he got KO'd in his last fight. Was it just not enough water in the brain cutting that low? We don't know. We're going to find out. So there is a little bit of mystery going in with Danny Barlow because we've never seen him at 185. He got tired in a few of his fights down at 170. Was that too much of a weight cut? Sorry. I don't know. We're going to find out. What we do know is DeJordan Santos's ass. DeJordan Santos is 28 years old. His striking's okay. His cardio's okay. He throws a ton of volume. He's just not very good. His jiu-jitsu's not good. His wrestling's not good. Um, he's okay when he goes forward. He likes to get the crowd involved. He trains at a good gym, an American Top Team. But just because you're at a good gym doesn't mean you're good. I mean, he went out there and lost to Ozzy Diaz in his last fight. That's enough said. Ozzy Diaz is a one-dimensional boxer who's very, very slow with a bad chin, and DeSantos hit him with a ton of shots, and couldn't put him away. He hit Will Curry with a ton of shots. They could not put him away. So I don't think he hits particularly hard, and he is willing to get hit to give a shot. And I don't think he wants to go shot for shot with left hand to God. I don't think that's a good idea. So I think Barlow's the cleaner striker. I think he's the faster striker. I think he's the more powerful striker. So for that reason, I think he's going to put his lights out. So the pick is going to be Danny Barlow. The bet's going to be Danny Barlow. Do I like him at this number? Absolutely not. I'm not a Barlow guy, but Jesus, DeSantos, he might be the worst. He literally might be the worst middleweight in the UFC. Pick Barlow, bet Barlow. Next fight of the night, we're just going to continue our dog hunting ways. We have Hung Sung Park at minus 260, going up against Bruno Silva at plus 210. Over under set at 1.5. Over 1.5 minus 210, under 1.5 at plus 160. Let's start with Hung Sung Park. He's okay. Yeah, I used to think he was bad. He's kind of growing on me. I can see the improvements. He's working really, really hard and getting better as a fighter. He's 29 years old, so he's in his prime. He has good striking. He has decent power. He has okay jujitsu. His cardio checks out. Um, he's good going forward. If you back him up, he's not a very good counter striker. He has to go first. He has to initiate. His level of competition, though, is not good. He got too far of a step up fighting Tyron. He got absolutely smashed. He got clubbed and subbed in a minute, so that didn't look good. But before that, he choked out Carlos Hernandez, who I think has been cut. He knocked out Shannon Ross, who has the worst chin in UFC history. And then he fought a whole bunch of road to UFC guys and guys on the Korean regional scene, who are absolutely atrocious. So he's never been tested outside of one fight, and he got killed in 1 minute. So I do see the improvements. He did have like a significant injury, take time off, and build his muscle mass and come back looking really, really good. But it's just there's a lot of unknown with him too. We know he's going to kill a can, and we know he is not top five. So what is this guy? We don't know. We know what Bruno Silva is. Bruno Silva is very undersized. But he carries a ton of power in that little small, like 5'3" frame. He's 35 years old. We've seen him for a very long time. He is a good striker. He is good jujitsu. His takedown defense, not great, is 60% takedown defense. And he is a little hittable as of late, but he's fighting the who's who's. He's fighting Manel Kopp and Josh Van. So I'll cut him a little bit of slack getting outstruck by those two. The problem is he got knocked out by those two, and they were both in round three. The dude used to be pretty cast iron, but we've seen him KO'd 3 times now. He also got KO'd by dude that was on strict Khalid Taha back in the day, back in 2019, but Taha tested positive for steroids. But Kopp and Van did not. So that chin we've seen cracked way in the past. And now his last 2 fights, he's been KO'd, and people are kind of writing him off. I just think this line is way too wide. When it comes to striking, I do think Silva's probably a little bit better of a striker. When it comes to power, I think Park hits more. When it comes to durability, I think Park has better durability. But let's not forget Tyra rocked Park real badly in that fight. Let's not forget Shannon Ross rocked Park in a fight. So Park's durability is a question mark. We just know Silva's is fading. When it comes to wrestling, it's pretty much a wash. When it comes to jujitsu, it's pretty much a wash. When it comes to cardio, it's pretty much a wash. So it's a 50-50 fight. And Silva's a plus 210 dog. It doesn't make a lot of sense to me. Silva's fought the better level of competition. And he's fought a very similar style in Tyson Nam. There's not a lot of difference between Tyson Nam and Park. And Silva went out there and he beat Tyson Nam. So for that reason, I'm going to hope he does it again. The pick is going to be Bruno Silva. The bet's going to be Bruno Silva. We're going to bet on the devil we know instead of the devil we don't. Next fight of the night is probably the toughest fight on the card to just figure out. We have Charles Jourdain at minus 170 going up against Davy Grant at plus 140. Over on their set at 1.5. Sorry, 2.5. Over 2.5, minus 195. Under 2.5 at plus 150. I don't know what to do with the line. I don't know what to do with the over under. It's a total coin flip with these two. They're good. Both of them are good. Both of them are kind of similar in the way they fight. So let's just start with the Canadian and Charles Jourdain. Charles Jourdain has really good striking. I would say he has good jiu-jitsu, but what he really just has is a really, really good guillotine, like world-class guillotine. He snatches your neck, you're in trouble. He has good cardio. He has a ton of volume. Does not have good wrestling. 47% takedown defense is not a good number. But the good news for him is that he's fighting dangerous Davy Grant, who has never shot a takedown in his life. So Jourdain is going to be the hometown guy. He is the Canadian in this matchup. On the other side, we have Davy Grant, who is a high volume striker with okay BJJ, 63% takedown defense, not the greatest number, but again, Charles Jourdain can't wrestle either. Difference is he is 39 years old, so he is getting up there in age. Level of competition, I think Jourdain's actually fought. It's about the same. Jourdain has fought some pretty decent guys. Davy Grant has fought some pretty decent guys. Wins over Damon Blackshear, looked really good. His split decision loss to Daniel Marcos. I bet Daniel Marcos, and I'm telling you right now, Davy Grant won that fight. The Rafael Sensao fight is a scary one because he was just taken down and dominated until he hit an inverted triangle, which is absolutely insane. But at the end of the day, that's by getting out grappled. When people go out there and strike with him, like a Adrian Yanez, who won a split decision that was very questionable, Louis Smoka, he went out there and killed. Ramon Tavares went out there and struck with him and got killed. The Mon Blackshear went out there and struck with him and got killed. You strike with Davy Grant, it's not a good idea. Charles Jourdain can match his volume. Charles Jourdain at 135. Again, most of his fights are at 145. There's going to be a second or third fight down at bantamweight. Can match Davy Grant's power. Charles Jourdain has a pretty decent chin. So this is going to turn into a tit for tat fight. One person's going to land 6 significant strikes per minute. One person going to land 6 significant strikes per minute. No one's going to get a takedown. And I'm going to hope that the crowd is able to sway the judges. We've seen a close fight like this. We saw the Brad Katona, Garrett Armfield. We saw the Ramon Tavares, Series City. Very similar matchups, and both of those went to the non-Canadian. So I do start to look at Davy Grant's direction, especially at those odds. But Charles Jourdain at 135 is just a little different to me. I don't think it's going to happen 3 times in a row. I don't know. This is a total stay away. I'll pick Jourdain. The bet of the over is probably safe, but Davy Grant's 39 years old. And statistics just say if they're 10 years younger than you, they're going to win. So uh, this is very close. I'll pick Jourdain. I'll bet the over. And I don't feel great about either one. Next fight of the night, we have yet another Canadian in a close matchup. We have Kyle, the Monster Nelson, at minus 102, going up against Matt Favola at minus 118. Over under set at 2.5. Over 2.5 plus 140. Under 2.5 minus 180. Let's start with Kyle Nelson. As aforementioned, Kyle Nelson is a Canadian in this matchup. He is 34 years young. Will have the crowd behind him. Has good striking. Has a ton of power. But is a little low volume. His wrestling is definitely improved. It's okay. It is not great. The amount he gets hit is not good. He's very hittable. We've seen him chin checked and knocked out in the past, so his chin is a little bit of a question mark. And his cardio's trash. He does slow down in every single one of his fights. Now, his losses, I mean, losing to Diego Ferreira is fine. Losing to Jay Herbert he's okay. Losing to Billy Q, he's okay. Losing to Matt Sales, not great. Losing to Steve Garcia, understandable. So his losses are okay. His wins, Fernando Padilla, that was a really weird third fight in Padilla's debut. Bill Algio's a pretty decent fighter, but then he retired after the fight. Blake Builder was always overrated. So his wins have a whole bunch of question marks next to them. Paulo Reyes was cut. So you had a guy, he beat a guy that was then cut. He beat a guy that was then cut. He beat a guy in his debut, and then he beat a guy in a retirement fight. So his wins they're decent names when you look at them on paper, but the actual context is a little skewed. I'll be honest, Matt Frivola might be close to retiring as well. He's 35 years old, but Matt Frivola is a little more skilled than the guys I just mentioned. Frivola has good wrestling. He has terrible picture taking skills with this. What the hell is this? He has good striking. He has a ton of power. His cardio's okay. His level of competition's very good. His jujitsu, he's a Serra-Longo guy. He has okay jujitsu. He too has pretty good L's. His L's are to Armin Sarukian. Faraziem is what it is. Benoit Saint Denis, Terrence McKinney. Those are all really good losses in the UFC. They do have a common opponent in Polo Reyes, and Polo Reyes knocked out Matt Frivola, and that's our concern here. His chin. His chin's not very good at all. He's been knocked out on multiple occasions. Actually, out of all of his losses, all of his career losses, might be knockout. Polo Reyes, 1 minute knockout. Armin Sarukian, decision, go figure. Terrence McKinney knocked him out in 7 seconds. Benoit Saint Denis, head kick knockout. Faraziem, knee to the head knockout. So all of his losses but one have been by KO. So his chin, awful. Kyle Nelson's chin, not great either. Both of them, a ton of power. So if it is just swinging dicks out there in a matter of who connects first, it's a 50-50 fight, and that's the way it's lined. What I will say is that Frivola does have wrestling in his back pocket if he wants to use it. He used it against Jalen Turner, and I know that was years and years ago. He tried to use it against Benoit Saint Denis. The fight was only a minute and a half long, and he had like 3 takedowns. Like he was picking up Benoit, throwing him across the octagon. Benoit just kept getting up and then eventually head kicked him. So he tried to utilize it. He tried to take down Faraziem. He just couldn't for whatever reason. That was very odd. He got him down like once. But he did try to implement a wrestling game plan. So yes, he's known for going out there and just swinging and swinging and banging. But he has shown in his last 2 fights that he will wrestle if need be. It just didn't work out. He got KO'd both times. So is he going to go back to it? I don't know. Is he going to go in front of a crowd and just start swinging like he did with Drew Dober? I don't know, because we've also seen it that way. Drew Dober can get taken down and taken advantage of. Matt Furla went out there and just swung with him. So I don't know what's going to happen here. What I would bet is the under. But if he goes out there and wrestles, is that under going to hit? I don't know, but that's the way I'm going to take it. The pick is going to be Matt Frivola. The bet is going to be the under 2.5, and hope that he can get a sub or he can get someone gets knocked the fuck out. It's a high probability. Next fight of the night, we are going to enter our main card. We have Cody Gibson at -165. Main card was the last fight. Cody Gibson at -165 going up against Arichi Lang at +140. Over under set at 2.5. Over 2.5 -180. Under 2.5 at +140. Let's start with Cody Gibson. Cody Gibson's interesting. He's 38 years old, so he is not young whatsoever. He has really good wrestling. He has okay jiu-jitsu. He has a 2-inch reach advantage. His striking's okay, but his biggest problem is that he slows down. It's not that he has a bad chin. It's not that he has bad jiu-jitsu, but you can finish this guy late because of his cardio. If he's going out there and dominating, he can go 3 rounds. If he can go out there and just striking the whole time like he did with Brad Katona, he can go 3 rounds. But if you're going out there and he's wrestling the entire time, he's going to get Kimura at the end of round 2, like Damon Blackshear. He's going to get guillotined like he did against Adrian Diaz. Like he just gets tired. He's gonna go out there and lose rounds 3, and basically in every single fight he loses round 3. Round 2 is a question mark, and he starts real hot. He usually wins round 1. So it's just a matter of, does his opponent have cardio? Can his opponent withstand what's coming at them round 1? I don't really know. Arichi Lang is weird. He's not good, but he's not as bad as you think. He used to be a flyweight, so he's a little smaller. And Cody Gibson is a huge bantamweight. So Cody's going to get these takedowns to start. Just be wary of that. Arichi Lang is 32 years old. He has good striking. He's so fucking hittable. He does not believe in head movement at all. His jujitsu's okay. His cardio's good. His striking again, it's good offensively, defensively, a liability. And he's fought other wrestlers. Like he just fought Raul Rosas Jr., who fights kind of the same way Cody Gibson does. Now he went out there and lost. But he did make it a competitive fight. So I don't know. Cody's already the favorite, and I guarantee Cody wins round one. What I might end up doing is a live betting on Richie Lang, to be 100% honest with you. It's just, I got to do a little more research and see how he is in round two and three. His cardio checked out. It's just, his takedown defense is 58%. And it's Cody's going to get the takedowns and dominate. It's just a matter of, is he going to is he going to be able to knock gas out, get the takedowns in two and three, and survive after he wins round one? Is what it really comes down to. And I need to see how aggressive a Richie Lang is as he's down. So, we saw this fight before, though. We saw it with Cody Durden. We saw it with Raul Rosas Jr. I just got to ride with Gibson at this point. So the pick is Cody Gibson. The bet's Cody Gibson. But if that tide starts to turn in round two, a Richie Lang's an okay live bet. Next fight of the night. I'm shocked isn't the co-main event, but it is what it is. We have Manon Farrow, fresh off her loss for the title at minus 225, going up against a Canadian sweetheart, Jasmine Jasdovicius at plus 185. Over under set at 2.5. Over 2.5 minus 425. Under 2.5 at plus 300. Let's start with Manon Farrow. Manon's good, but she might low key be overrated. She's 35 years old. She has really, really, really good striking. She hits decently hard. Her cardio used to be bad, but it's improved a ton. So it's gotten much better. 87% takedown defense, and that's where things get weird. Aaron Blanchfield, I remember Aaron not being able to take Manon down. When I went back and I rewatched the fight, Aaron struck with her like for the most of the fight. I have no idea why. I don't know what got into Aaron that night in front of her hometown crowd in Jersey, but she tried to stand the entire time. And when she did go for takedowns, they were upper body throws. Manon is massive. Manon is strong. Manon is one of the biggest 135 pounders in UFC. So why Aaron Blanchfield, who's sorry, 125 pounder, why Aaron Blanchfield is going upper body with one of the biggest girls in the weight class, I'm not too sure. I don't know what her game plan was that week. I still love Aaron Blanchfield. I don't question her. I'll always support Aaron Blanchfield. I don't know if the moment got to her or something weird happened. But yeah, everyone's going to look at that fight and say she stuffed all of Aaron's takedowns. Aaron's small, and she only shot three, and they were all upper body stuff. So you look at the rest of her opponents. Valentina got her down to the ground twice, and she's an okay wrestler, but she's a Muay Thai striker. Rose didn't shoot takedowns. Ketlin Chukagian doesn't shoot takedowns. Jennifer Meyer got her down, and Jennifer Meyer is a really, really bad wrestler. Myra Bueno Silva is a really, really bad wrestler. And she just knocked out Tabitha Ricci right away, who was in the wrong weight class. So yeah, she hasn't really fought a wrestler. This is what it comes down to. Her jiu-jitsu's not great. She will mix in takedowns. Manon has a good double leg, and she has a pretty decent top game for some strange reason. But defensively, when Valentina got her down to the ground, she did not have a ton of urgency to get back up. So I don't like her get up game. I don't like her jiu-jitsu. I really do like her striking. It just comes down to, is this 87% takedown defense skewed? We're going to find out because, for the love of God, Jasmine Jasdovicius is going to shoot. She's not just going to go upper body with her. She will shoot singles. She will shoot doubles. She will go upper body. I see Jasmine do a litany of different takedowns, which is awesome. Jasmine's 36 years old. She will have the crowd behind her. She's bigger than Manon Farrows. That's going to be interesting. Manon has never fought anyone bigger than her. Um, she has a 2-inch reach advantage, and she has won me over. I thought Jasmine sucked. And she kind of did, to be honest with you, when she first made it to the UFC, but she's gotten better and better and better. And I'm opening my eyes and realizing sometimes these people, their initial, how they look, you have to look at what they're doing. You have to roll with the punches and realize people can improve. And Jazz started fighting professionally when she was like 28. Like she was a very, very, very late bloomer. She started dating someone in MMA. and then said I can fight, and then started training. So yeah, she's 36 in age, but she is still pretty green in fight years, and that's why she's improving at such a significant level. Her wrestling is good. Her jiu-jitsu is improving. She's tapping out black belts now. It's good. The level of competition, good. Her striking is improving. It's still not great. She will get absolutely murdered by Manon on the feet, but we've never seen Manon go against a wrestler of this caliber, and we've never seen Manon go against someone else her size. And that's where it gets very, very interesting. Um, Jasmine can slow down in fights, but she does love the pressure and go forward. Um, all of her takedowns sorry, all of her losses are to girls with really good takedown defense. Natalia Silva, she could not get down to the ground. Tracy Cortez is a really good wrestler. She could not get her down to the ground. And then she lost a very controversial split decision to Elise Reed. First of all, should have never been at 115. Secondly, just a weird fight where I thought she won and kind of got robbed. We saw how good Julia Pilastri looked last week. She went out there and dominated Julia Pilastri. So yeah, I mean, wins over Julia look good. Miranda Maverick looked good. Gabriel Fernandez looks good. Fatima Klein looks good. Ariana Lipski. Myra Bueno Silva fought for a title. Jessica Andrade, former champion. She is moving up the chain and she is starting to finish these fights. Darce choke, rear naked choke against BJJ black belt. So I'm very impressed with what Jazz has been able to do. She's improved quite a bit. She has earned my trust. Do I think she's going to win this fight? I don't know. It really comes down to Manon's takedown defense. But at plus 185, I just told you I like betting the unknown. I'm going to do it again. I might even look at this under 2.5 at plus 300. I think there's value there. If she gets on top of Manon, she's going to maul her, and she probably finishes her. If she can't take Manon down and is forced to strike, she might get knocked out. So this under 2.5 at plus 300, I'm going to definitely take a sprinkle at. But in regards to a pick and bet, I'm gonna trust wrestling. The pick is gonna be Jasmine Jasavicius in her hometown. The bet's gonna be Jasmine Jasavicius in her hometown. And she fights a lot in Canada, and she looks significantly better in Canada compared to in other places where she's fought. And she's not the only Canadian that does that. Aimon Sahabi, minus 125 in the next fight against Marlon Chito Vera at plus 105. Aimon Sahabi is another one that looks much better in Canada. Over under is set at 2.5. Over 2.5 minus 375, under 2.5 plus 270. Amin Tahami is another one that I did not believe in, but has drastically improved since being in the UFC. He's 37 years old, so do keep that in mind. But he has really good striking. He is a counter striker through and through. Generally doesn't throw a lot of volume. He did in his last fight, but he generally doesn't throw a lot of volume. He usually slows down in his fight, so do watch his cardio. But the problem I had with Eamon Sahabi was the fact that his brother is Faraz Sahabi and would cherry pick all of his fights. He was fighting guys on the regional scene multiple times in the same year just to boost his record. He came to the UFC and he hardly fights. He fights once every like 2 years and he handpicks his opponents. He fights guys that can't wrestle. He fights guys with bad striking defense, or he fights guys that are very, very reckless. Guys like Ricky Tercios, guys like Arichi Lang. If you are reckless, he wants to go out there and fight that guy. There's no protecting him once he started getting ranked. Pedro Munoz was fading, so that was good picking there. And Jose Aldo is where I thought it was a little too much. But he showed up in Canada confident, and he is a confidence-based fighter. When he's in a really, really close fight, those things get hairy and greasy. If he's out there and he's confident, he went out there and hurt Aldo in round one, and then he was building and building, and he felt great about himself. Round three, he almost died. But that's because his cardio does fall off. But if he is confident, he can go out there and strike with anyone. His jiu-jitsu's gotten better. He is a BJJ black belt now. So he his decent takedown defense. He's willing to stay safe on the ground, and when he is striking, he is one of the best counter strikers in the weight class. It's just usually his volume gets him in trouble. But he does have the crowd behind him, which really helps when he's fighting in Canada, and he's really confident. With that crowd behind him, it just like makes him a better fighter. On the other side, we have Marlon Chito Vera, who is just like Manon Farrow, where I said he might be overrated. He also lost a title fight, and he should have never been there to begin with. Sean O'Malley handpicked him. Marlon Chito Vera has good striking. He has good jiu-jitsu. He has a great level of competition. Best part about Chito Vera is his cardio and his durability. So Hobby has to mind his P's and Q's because Marlon Chito Vera is going to try to kill him. Good news for Sahabi is that Marlon Chito Vera has never won a round one. He does not win round ones. Davidson gave out round one. Sean O'Malley, round one. Pedro Munoz. Even when you go back to pre-ranked Cheeto Vera, he lost round one to Andre Ewell. He lost round one to Frankie San, or no, he won against Frankie San, sorry. He lost round one to Guido Canetti. Like, he's losing every single round. He cannot win round one. He gives it away. Then he started getting all these 5 round fights. And things got better for him, and he started winning, and he started dominating later in rounds. This is a 3 round fight. He gives away round one to a confidence fighter like that. As a hobby builds off his confidence, you go out there and give him the first round, it makes round two very, very hard. Chito Vera is going to win round three. It's just a matter of Zahabi better not get KO'd in round three. Zahabi is going to win round one, and this whole fight comes down to round two. That's what it comes down to. Vera not going to wrestle, so Zahabi is able to just focus on the boxing, focus on the counter striking. Um, and for that reason, I think Ferris just a little overrated in my opinion. When you really look at his record, beating people like Brad Pickett was old, Brian Kelleher was old, Beetle Kennelly is old, Frankie Saenz was old, Andre Ewell, no. Sean O'Malley, there was the leg problem. Davey Grant is 39 years old. Frankie Egger is in his 40s. Rob Font, sneaky, is 39. Dominic Cruz was in his 40s. Pedro Munoz is like 39. He only, if you are over the age of 38, Tito Vera is going to beat you. Zahabi's 37, bro. Let's get it. The pick is going to be Amin Zahabi. The bet is going to be Amin Zahabi. And God bless us with this co-main event of the evening. We had the return of the Trailblazer, Kevin Holland at -102, going up against Mike Malott at -118. Over under set at 2.5. Over 2.5 plus 135. Under 2.5 at -175. God, it's Kevin Holland fight week. What do we do? Kevin Holland's good. He's 32 years old. He has a 10-inch reach advantage, which is insane. He has good striking. He has really underrated, very, very world class BJJ. He's a BJJ black belt under Travis Lutter. He carries a sneaky amount of power. He has really good cardio. Volume's decent. Everything looked good about Kevin Holland, except for the fact that he has 55% takedown defense. That's horrid. And you never know what version you're going to get. Sometimes he goes out there, he just wants to go out there and have fun. He's not going out there to win a world title. He's going out there to get 2 paychecks, and get popularity. That's all he's there for, to have fun. He fights 5 or 6 times a year, and I think it's starting to wear on his body. We did see him get a little tired in his last fight against Daniel Rodriguez, which was interesting. We did see him get rocked multiple times against Daniel Rodriguez, which was interesting. Uh, we saw his ribs give out against Rainier De Ridder. Or sorry. He got choked up by Rainier De Ridder. We saw his ribs get hurt by Roman Dolidze. It's just like his body's kind of breaking down a little bit. And I think part of it, we saw him drop against Michael Oley and Jacek real badly. His chin and durability is starting to fade. He used to have a decent amount of power, good jiu-jitsu, good striking, tall, lanky. And if he fought at 170 and was serious, he was a problem. But his durability is definitely fading. He's fighting too much. He needs to take a break. And his last fight against D-Rod was just in 2025 in July. So a little better than usual. I mean, before that, he fought in June. Before that, he fought in March. So he's fighting every 3 months. That's July, August, September, October. I guess it is 3 months again. He fights every 3 months. He needs a break. His body is screaming that he needs a break, and he's not taking it. And he's fighting Mike Malott, who's an absolute killer. Mike Malott has good striking. He's 33 years old. He's the Canadian and is going to have the crowd behind him. Mike Malott has good wrestling. Mike Malott is a BJJ black belt and is very good on the ground with his jiu-jitsu. You're like, well, what is wrong with Mike Malott? Oh, his cardio. His cardio's ass. Very, very, very bad. And we've seen him try to conserve himself quite a bit in his last fight against Charles Radke, especially the Trevin Giles fight. Essentially, he went out there. He fought Neil Magny, dominated for 2 rounds in Canada, and then gassed out and then got KO'd in round three because he just had nothing left in the tank. He said that's never going to happen again. He acknowledged it, had the most boring fight you've ever seen against Trevin Giles, and apologized to the crowd and said, I was purposely managing my gas tank. Started to do it against Charles Radke. Charles Radke got just bored with it, ran after him, and got caught with a left hook and then got put out. Understandable. He still has that power, but he's just not fighting the same after that Neil Magny loss. And even before Neil Magny, his other loss was to Hakeem Dawodu, who is not a power puncher at all, but knocked him out in round one. So his cardio's trash, and his durability is very questionable. So he has all of the tools in the world, but the most important parts of MMA are your chin and your cardio. If you don't have either of those, you are going to struggle. Holland generally has both, but both of his are starting to fade. I just don't think they're as bad as Mike Malotz is currently. I would like to bet Holland as a dog. I just never know what version you're getting. But he usually looks better after coming off a loss. So for that reason, and the fact that he's a dog, I'm not trusting Holland as a favorite like ever again. But as a dog, I'll take the shot. So the pick is going to be Kevin Holland. The bet's going to be Kevin Holland at dog money. And that takes us to the main event. If you haven't already, smash the like, give a follow over on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, wherever there's social media. There's the Stats and Stacks podcast. We have our guy, Rainier De Ridder, at minus 200, going up against Brendan Allen at plus 165. Over under set at 3.5. Over 3.5 plus 105. Under 3.5 minus 135. I love RDR and was pissed that he fought Robert Whitaker because I love Robert Whitaker. I wanted no part of that. Then they were going to give him Fluffy, and I love Fluffy. I don't want to bet against RDR ever. I like RDR. Stop giving him people I like. Not the biggest Brendan Allen guy, so this is fine. It was going to be Fluffy. He got hurt. So now he's getting Brendan Allen on short notice, which is interesting. RDR, if he's going to do the damn thing, he's got to do it now. He is 35 years old. He has a 3-inch reach advantage. He has world-class jiu-jitsu, probably best jiu-jitsu at 185 between him and Andre Muniz, probably. His wrestling's unorthodox. It's okay. It's not good. It's not bad. It's very, very funky. His striking is not good at all. But he does have really, really hard knees that he throws to the body. It's super cool. He's the only one I know that does it like that, and he keeps hurting people. He hurt Whitaker badly. He knocked out Bo Nix with these knees. He found this weird cheat code with these Muay Thai knees that he's in love with. His volume's very low. You can hurt him. He's been knocked out in both of his losses. Granted, they were to the same guy, but Robert Whitaker absolutely sparked him, and the fight almost ended his very last fight. So he can be chin checked. His chin's a little concerning. He got rocked by GM3 too. Definitely not a good look. So his chin's definitely there for the taking. Cardio, not great. Slows down in every single one of his fights. Granted, they're 5 rounders, but he does slow down quite a bit. So that's concerning. Again, you want cardio and you want a chin. His aren't bad. They're just you can catch them. So got to be weary of that. His stand up not good. But outside of chin and cardio, the other thing you want is wrestling. And it's okay. His jiu-jitsu is world class though. So he's fine with you taking him down. He has no problem with that. That's how good he is on the ground. But he's not just a one-dimensional BJJ guy. He will strike with you. I mean, he will try to wrestle you. He'll try. He'll certainly try. On the other side, we have Brendan Allen, who has improved quite a bit, but he is taking this fight on short notice. He has good jiu-jitsu, but RDR's is better. He has good striking. I will say his striking is better than RDR's. His power is okay, but Allen's chin is just as questionable. We've seen him knocked out on multiple occasions, so they both have bad chins. Allen, I've seen him go a hard 3 rounds, or sorry, I've seen him go a hard 5 rounds against Chris Curtis. And his cardio looked okay, but then I've also seen him gas out in 3 rounds against um, Nazardine Imavov. So we really never know what version of cardio we're getting with Brendan Allen. So that's a little concerning with him taking the fight on short notice. So again, RDR's chin is questionable. So is Allen's. RDR's cardio is questionable. So is Allen's. RDR is very hittable. So is Allen. Now, Allen has beat 2 BJJ guys in the past, beating Muniz and beating Paul Craig, and RDR is pretty similar. So that is something to take note of. But at the end of the day, they're the same fighter. Just RDR hits a little harder. And RDR hit a full camp. So for that juncture, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna trust the favorite here. The pick is gonna be Rainier De Ridder. The bet is gonna be Rainier De Ridder. And that is UFC Vancouver. It's a fun fight card. It's on early, being over in Canada. I think the prelims start at 4, so be cognizant of that. And we are looking to bounce back, and we are looking to make some money. Let's get after it.